Greetings, Magic players. This is Steve from Untapped Games, and today we are going to open Oath of the Gatewatch, which is the newest booster set coming out for Magic. It comes out this Friday from the date of the video, and I'm very excited. I played this at pre-release, had a blast. This set is cool because it's actually got Two-Headed Giant as a format that a lot of the cards are designed to be used in, and Two-Headed Giant is I can confirm that it's really fun to play Two-Headed Giant. All the games that I played were really close and had a lot of cool plays, and it was fun. So without further ado, let's go. Just going to be skimming through the cards and checking out our rares. So let's check it out. So we have Wastes, which are colorless lands. Colorless matters in this set. Eiley, Eternal Pilgrim. I had her in pre-release. White and a black. Death Touch, 2/3, Legendary Core Cleric. You can tap one, sacrifice another creature, gain life equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness. 1 black and a white, sacrifice another creature, exile target non-land permanent. Activate this ability only if you have at least 10 life more than your starting life total. Okay. Like I said, colorless matters in this set because the Eldrazi are getting beaten back out of this plane, and they changed the mana symbol for the they changed the mana symbol for colorless so that it no longer is exactly the same as the mana symbol for generic mana, which is interesting. Call the Gatewatch, 2 and a white, sorcery. Search your library for a Planeswalker card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Okay. Alright. Whoa! Awesome Planeswalker Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, 1 and 2 green for a Planeswalker. Her +1 is put a 0/1 green plant creature token onto the battlefield. -2, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. And -7, gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of lands you control. She starts with 3 loyalty counters, and that is a very cheap Planeswalker with some value. She can defend herself. That's going to be cool to see if people start building around that. I'm going to push this up here so that people can see what's going on here. Alright, there we go. So, Planeswalker right at the bat. It's only my 3rd pack. Not too shabby. Let's try to keep that up. Okay, oh, I got Oath of Chandra. So this is part of a cycle of cards. It's 1 in a red. Legendary enchantment. When Oath of Chandra enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to target creature an opponent controls. At the beginning of each end step, if a Planeswalker entered the battlefield under your control this turn, Oath of Chandra deals 2 damage to each opponent. So, I really like the art in that one, and I also like the flavor text. All the other ones are, all the other oaths, they're all like, I promise to protect the multiverse or something serious sounding, and she's just like, if it means that people can live in freedom, yeah, I'll keep watch. Just casual Chandra. I don't really follow the lore super closely, but Chandra seems like a pretty cool person. Alright. Overwhelming denial. Whoa, hey. Foil rare too. Captain's Claws, 2 mana for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+0. Whenever equipped creature attacks, put a 1/1 white core allied creature token onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Equip 1. It's alright. Maybe that'll see some limited play. I don't know. Most of the equipment I've noticed aren't that great. Overwhelming Denial, 2 and 2 blue for an instant. It has Surge, which is a new mechanic. You can cast this spell for its Surge cost. If you or a teammate cast another spell this turn, which came up a lot in Two-Headed Giant, Overwhelming Denial can't be countered by spells or abilities. Counter target spell. So it's a uncounterable counter spell as long as your teammate has cast something, or if you cast something earlier that turn. There's blue. Corrupted Crossroads, the land. Tap to add a colorless to your mana pool. Tap and pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast a spell with Devoid. So it's sort of like a filter land for an Eldrazi deck. Which is cool, because Eldrazi are pretty darn good in this format. And just in general, there are a lot of good colorless cards in this set. There's one in particular that I'm hoping to get, because I got him during pre-release. It was really good. This guy was pretty cool. Yeah, Hedron Alignment. Interesting card. 2 and a blue for an enchantment. The enchantment is hexproof. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may reveal your hand. If you do, you win the game. If you own a card named Hedron Alignment in exile in your hand, in your graveyard, and on the battlefield, and for 1 and a blue, you can scry 1. I assume that the last ability is so that it has maybe some relevance in limited, although, yeah, that's unlikely to be used in any form of sealed or limited or whatever. So it's very Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's just like you have to assemble these specific cards from your deck and make sure that they're working together. I don't know. It's funny. It's a funny card. I'm sure that somebody will brew a deck around it and try it in standard, but I don't know if that's any good or what. But yeah. Deceiver of Form, 6 and a colorless, so because that's in the casting cost, you need a colorless. You can't pay that with red, you can't pay that with green, nothing. It's got to be colorless. So colorless acts as sort of a 6th color, which is something that Wizards has been thinking of having a set do for a long time, since like Invasion, I think. So it's interesting. At the beginning of combat on your turn, reveal the top card of your library. If a creature card is revealed this way, you may have creatures you control other than Deceiver of Form become copies of that card until end of turn. You may put the card on the bottom of the library, and it's an 8/8 Eldrazi. Cool. I'll put that with the artifacts, because they're all colorless. I guess so are lands. I don't know, lands are different though, they're not spells. Alright. Crush of Tentacles, a mythic, 4 and 2 blue. Surge cost is 3 and 2 blue. Return all non-land permanents to their owner's hand. If Crush of Tentacles surge cost was paid, put an 8/8 blue octopus creature token on the battlefield. It's pretty cool. Potentially devastating move. Although that happened to my team in pre-release, and we came back from it. Because there's a lot of ways to like tap down big creatures, or otherwise just... There's a ton of removal in this set, and in the pre-release format between Oath and Battle, there's just so much good removal, especially in white. Jory N Ruin Diver, 1 a green, 1 a green, 1 a blue and a red. For legendary creature, Merfolk Wizard, whenever you cast your second spell each turn, draw a card, and it's 2/3. Not bad. Right. Ooh, this one's good. Reality Smasher, 4 and a colorless. It's got Trample Haste. Whenever it becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, counter that spell unless its controller discards a card. And it's a 5/5. So, yeah, they have to... if they want to get rid of this, it's kind of like Hexproof, except it gives them a choice that they can 2-for-1 themselves to try to kill this, which is funny. I really got good use out of that card in pre-release. And that wasn't even the only good colorless creature in pre-release. There was a lot of them. Alright, Dread Defiler, 6 and a black. It's a devoid creature. 3 and a colorless, exile a creature card, or exile a creature card from your graveyard. Target opponent loses life equal to the exiled card's power, and it's a 6/8. It's pretty cool. And I don't have any black yet, so I'll just put that over here. Let me reconfigure, fit all this in the screen. There we go. Okay. That's another Overwhelming Denial. Counterspell-ish card. Dimensional Infiltrator, 1 and a blue for a devoid flash flying creature. It's a 2/1. It's already pretty good value. And for 1 and a blue, 1 and a colorless, target opponent exiles the top card of his or her library. If it's a land card, you may return Dimensional Infiltrator to its owner's hand, which is an interesting way to kind of save your Dimensional Infiltrator. All right. So it's got evasion. It has ways to avoid sometimes removal. Ruins of Oran Reef, land. It enters the battlefield tapped. Tap to add a colorless to your mana pool. Tap to put a +1/+1 counter on target colorless creature that entered the battlefield this turn. Good on lands as well. All right. We're speaking of lands. There we go. As usual, there's full art lands too in this set, which is always welcome. Like full art lands. Alright. Fall of the Titans won me a game. 2X and a red. Surge cost is X and a red. Fall of the Titans deals X damage to each of up to 2 target creatures and or players. Really good in 2-hit giant because that doubles that damage. Because it happens once to both of your opponents, but they share a life total, so you're really just you know, getting more bang for your buck that way. Ooh, awesome. Linvala the Preserver, 4 and 2 white for a legendary creature Angel, flying. When Linvala the Preserver enters the battlefield, if an opponent has more life than you, you gain 5 life. When Linvala enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more creatures than you, put a 3/3 white Angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield, and she's a 5/5. So if you're behind, it's a 5/5 with flying for 6 and a ton of stuff. And if you're ahead, it's still a 5/5 with flying for 6. That is awesome. This is what I mean when I say that this has a lot of good removal. Because there's Isolation Zone, and then there's the similar card in battle. Vile Redeemer, 2 and a green, devoid, 3/3 flash. When you cast Vile Redeemer, you may pay colorless. If you do, put a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scion creature token onto the battlefield for each non-creature token or non-token creature that died under your control this turn. Those tokens have sacrificed this creature. Add colorless to your mana pool. Alright, it's green, technically. Not really, it's not green, but I'm going to put it with green, because it would go in a green deck. And my colorless file would get really, really long if I put all those devoid cards over there. Stonehaven Outfitter, it's 1 and a white. Equipped creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever an equipped creature you control dies, draw a card. It's interesting. It's a 2/2. It's an ally too, so this could be relevant. Reality Hemorrhage. Put that up with my foil commons and uncommons. Alright, we're like past halfway through this. Hopefully pick up the pace a little. Alright, Bearer of Silence, 1 and a black. Eldrazi, devoid. When you cast it, you may pay 1 and a colorless. If you do, target opponent sacrifices a creature. Flying, and it can't block. It's a 2/1. Here we go. Alright. Come on, more Planeswalkers. Oh, Eldrazi Obligator. 2 and a red for a Eldrazi with Devoid. When you cast it, you may pay 1 and a colorless. If you do gain control of target creature until end of turn, untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn, and it's haste. So it's kind of like a, what do you call it on a stick? One of those trail cards. Happens a lot in red. Okay. It's a Gladecart Cavalry, 5 and 2 green for an Elf Knight, 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, support 6, which means put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 6 other target creatures. Whenever a creature you control the +1/+1 counter on it dies, you gain 2 life. That guy's really good in limited. Despite green being a little weak for limited this time around. Although it seems like a lot of the green cards, the green rares that I've pulled here are pretty good. Ooh, this guy's so good. Oh man. 3 and a colorless, Thought-Knot Seer. Eldrazi, when Thought-Knot Seer enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-land card from it and exile that card. And when it leaves the battlefield, target opponent draws a card. It's a 4/4. So it's kind of like an Oblivion Ring that's colorless on a 4/4 body, but instead of the person getting that card back, they just draw a card. So whatever threat that you remove with this is just gone, and they get to draw a card if this leaves. But hey, it's pretty all around really, really good. And no, sorry, not an Oblivion Ring. I'm thinking of the wrong card. No, because it's looking at their hand. My fault. But it's a really good thing to draw early, because on turn 4 you can short circuit some plans, and it was very, very good in pre-release. Alright, Mina and Den Wildborn, 2 red and a green for a legendary elf ally. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. For red and green, return a land you control to its owner's hand. Target creature gains trample until end of turn. 4/4. It's good for enabling landfall, because you can just pop a land out and pop it back, and then there are certain lands that have enter the battlefield effects, like Mortuary Mire. That's just one off the top of my head. Oh, hey, foil Full Forest is not bad. All right. Alright, Eldrazi Mimic. It's 2 for a Eldrazi. It's 2/1. Whenever another colorless creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may change Eldrazi Mimic's base power and toughness to that creature's power and toughness until end of turn. Which is good, because most of the Eldrazi are pretty big. Alright. Alright, another Dread Defiler. Ooh, Tyrant of Valakut, 5 and 2 red for a dragon. That's a 5/4. Surge cost is 3 and 2 red, which is a good value for a flyer. It flies when Tyrant of Valakut enters the battlefield. If its surge cost was paid, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. That guy's cool. Great Bomb. sort of in the vein of like a what was that card? That lightning looking dragon from Theros block. Stormring? I don't remember. Ages ago, Matter Reshaper, 2 in a colorless for an Eldrazi, that's a 3/2. When Matter Reshaper dies, reveal the top card of your library. You may put that card onto the battlefield if it's a permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less. Otherwise, put that card into your hand. That's pretty awesome if you make a deck that has a very low curve, because those guys come out and then you just get free stuff. Or even if it's a land, you just put it in your hand. Or, sorry, well, land I think you put into the battlefield too, because it's got a less than a 3 mana cost. Yeah, it's a permanent. It works. Yeah, you just pop those out and get 2 for 1. Ooh, yes! Awesome. Chandra Flamecaller, 4 and 2 red. She's 4 loyalty, put +1 on her, put 2 3/1 red elemental creature tokens with haste onto the battlefield, exile them at the beginning of the next end step. For 0, discard all the cards in your hand, then draw that many cards +1. And for -X, Chandra Flamecaller deals X damage to each creature. I saw some people poo-pooing this. I actually think she's really good because of that last ability. You know, usually the test for a Planeswalker is that they're able to defend themselves, and it's true that her +1 ability does not defend her because she's putting out things that exile at the end of the end step, or at the end of the turn rather. But I think she defends herself with that last one, because even if you're going down to 3, or even if you're going down to 1 to clear the board, yeah, I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I'm not competitive, but that seems incredibly good to be able to put that much pressure. She is really expensive though, so maybe that's why people don't like her. But I think she's good. I think she's cool. And like I said before, I think Chandra's cool. Whatever. You agree to disagree. Oath of Nissa, this card's really good. I'm sure of that. A green for a legendary enchantment. When Oath of Nissa enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature, land, or planeswalker card from among them and put them in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast planeswalker spells. Yeah, awesome in a Super Friends deck, and then that first ability is really, really useful. Yeah, that is pretty awesome. I'm not sure why I mean, I know why they made them legendary, but it's not actually a problem that they're legendary, because they have enter the battlefield effects. All those oaths have enter the battlefield effects, and then the second ability is usually a static thing. Would Oath double up? Oh yeah, Oath would. I mean, Chandra's Oath would be more powerful if you had multiple out. So yeah, that's why. Eldrazi Displacer, 2 and a white for a 3/3 Eldrazi with Devoid, 2 and a colorless, exile another target creature, then return to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. This was so good in pre-release. I didn't get it, but I had it used on me. I had somebody use this on this dude, the big guy, Gladeheart Cavalry. So every time he got flickered into the battlefield, he was putting 6+1/+1 counters out on things, and they put it out on little Eldrazi spawn tokens, or the guys that you can sacrifice. So they were able to stay in the game. Like we got them, you know, we beat that team, but they were able to stay in the game so much longer by sacrificing it for mana, but also gaining life. So they really just prolonged the game that way. It was interesting. Yeah, that Displacer is such a useful tool. Remorseless Punishment. It doesn't sound good. 3 and 2 black for a sorcery. Target opponent loses 5 life unless that player discards 2 cards or sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Repeat this process once. Wow. I didn't even know that that existed. I hadn't seen that card spoiled, but that's pretty cool. It's a Plains that's a foil. Getting some good foil lands there. Look at all those commons and uncommons. You'll just have to wonder what those are because you don't have time to look through all those. But all right, Hissing Quagmire. It's enters the battlefield tapped. Tap to add a black or a green to your mana pool, and for one a black and a red. Why do I keep messing up? I'm not colorblind, I swear. One a black and a green. Hissing Quagmire becomes a 2/2 black and green elemental creature with death touch until end of turn. It's still a land. So that's a man land. That's a black-green man land. That's what it is. It's a Harvester Troll foil. All right. Endbringer. Gosh, this guy's crazy. This guy was the guy I was thinking of when I was like, yeah, there are some just nuts colorless creatures. 5 and a colorless Eldrazi. Untap it during each other player's untap step. Note well, that means that it still untaps during your untap step. It just has extra stuff to do on other players' turns. So you can tap it to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. Colorless and tap. Target creature can't attack or block this turn. 2 colorless and tap. If you have absolutely nothing to do and you have the mana, you can just draw a card. And it's a 5/5 creature on top of that. So good. Even if it wasn't a 5/5 creature, those abilities are just so useful. Okay. Mirror Pool, yeah, there's a mythic. Mirror Pool enters the battlefield tapped. Tap to add a colorless to your mana pool. Oh, this is a good card, yeah. 2 and a colorless, tap, sacrifice it, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. 4 and a colorless, tap, sacrifice it, put a token on the battlefield that's a copy of target creature you control. So it's a really versatile land. And aptly named because it's like a mirror. It becomes a mirror image of something that you control. Okay, last pack, guys. Last pack. Let's savor the moment. Savoring. No longer savoring. No, just took 1 and a green. Elf Druid ally with Vigilance. As long as you control 6 or more lands, Sylvan Advocate and the land creatures you control gets +2/+2. It's a 2/3. Just pointing out that a 2/3 with Vigilance for 2 is already good, and you're gonna get to 6 lands. So late game, he just becomes a 4/5. Great, awesome, and he's an ally, so that's just gravy. Okay, guys, I'm really thankful for you guys for sticking with me through this video. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please like it. It kind of helps us get it visible. We also have a contest going on. The contest is going to end at the end of the month, so you have a few weeks still left. So I guess this ends February 1st. Just tell me what's in the comments section or in the Facebook post that's going to be linked to this comment. Just tell me which of these cards that you saw was your favorite that I pulled this pack, and we're going to choose 2 people from those comments, and both of those people are going to get half of a box of Oath of the Gatewatch. So it's a good set. I can tell you it's definitely a fun set from what I've played of it, and yeah, so if you're interested in that, check out check out the description for all the details for that contest, and enter it. And then until next time, take care and have fun playing Magic.